initially, our mandate was from September 13th to March 31st, 2019. Part of our responsibilities involved sending monthly reports to FIFA so that at every stage they are aware of what we have been doing. And with the coming of the end of March, they had to take a decision. We gave them what we have done to this point, and they took a decision that yes, a lot has been done, but a lot more remains to be done. Specifically, finalizing the review of the statute and engaging in the elections of the executive committee. And therefore, in Miami, on the 15th of March, President Fantino presented to the FIFA Council the progress of the Ghana Normalization Committee, and a decision was taken that the mandate date end should be extended to September 30th, 2019. That means they added another 6 months.
If you look at the last video, there were various instances of persons who took money and had their conduct influence one way or the other in terms of the organization of football matches and whatever. And clearly, this conduct is prescribed by the GFA regulations, and there's punishment prescribed. But the prescription of that punishment is not enough to serve as a deterrent and also to even boost the confidence of the Ghanaian public that such conduct, when engaging, would not be punished properly. Now, I say so because, indeed, if a person offers money, for instance, if a person offers money to a football referee to influence the outcome of a match, it is what we usually describe as bribery. But such bribery is not recognized in the domestic laws of Ghana. And I say so because bribery and corruption, as defined, only applies to public officers in Ghana. So if you take money to have your conduct influence one way or the other, and you're a public officer, such conduct will be punished. But most of the officers engaged in football are private persons. The referees are private persons, and most of the officials at GFA will not even be public officers. In fact, the president of GFA himself was actually in the private sector and was serving us. So if there is such conduct, clearly it does not fall within the prescription of corruption, or bribery and corruption in the Criminal Offences Act. Now, again, the offense of defrauding by false pretenses cannot apply, because you're talking about the definition of fraud is where a person takes money upon making a representation to another that is going to do X and Y, and that person knows that he couldn't deliver on such a promise, and that will qualify for fraud. So clearly, you find a gap whereby even though the specific conduct is deplorable, even though the conduct would have been punished as per the not so heavy sanctions prescribed by a GFA, that person will be working scot-free, and the confidence of the public in football administration will be weakened. So we think that there's a very pressing need for us to amend the existing Sports Act. It's a Sports Act at 934, but the Sports Act recognizes only very limited conduct as offenses. So we have envisaged that indeed there ought to be an amendment of this Sports Act to recognize such practices as offenses under the Sports Act. And when that is done, a punishment will be prescribed by the new legislation that will be put out. So there will be a specific definition of certain offenses which clearly are peculiar to practices in the sporting arena. And such conduct will then be criminalized by the new Sports Act. And then also, how do we prosecute such offenses? We have also thought about the institution of what we call a sports tribunal. And that will not be so much different from, say, what is existing under the Land Title Administration law, the Land Title Education Committee, which has the powers of making certain recommendations and which really have.
We are live on Adom TV, Ghana for Babia Obia, and there, Anope Yamuachian Wakwaba, Ediaba, Agoro Ne Fom, Jumadine. So, and there, a very busy Saturday. The reason is that I don't remember the last time 2 national teams ball match back home. You ball match one venue. 2 national teams who are international assignments. But no AC and there Ohenijan and I say at the Accra Sports Stadium. 3 p.m. Ghana time. Ghana U23 Black Meteors. Any Gabonese national team in the airborne. We are 6 p.m. Ghana Black Stars, any the Harambee Stars of Kenya airborne. And it is the first time in so many years. In fact, I cannot really remember the last time I saw Abra 2 national teams airborne matches on the same day at or on one venue. And never some matches, but within the week, and never will be at Tutuga and SEC or Ghana. For example, the official confirmation of the extension of the Normalization Committee of the Ghana Football Association. Now they have 6 more months to go. Abra, one more on the 31st of March. I know they are the airback. And then there's something that is happening in football, and it is the first time I see a FIFA and any national federation, and it is a cool friend say FIFA Joint Task Force. Joint nature say between Ghana and FIFA. Joint Ghana and FIFA, and I can't boom. I join it, and I want to say task force number. Now, you better check Simu ama Ghana for who the purpose of this task force. Any idea I say omo eye, and then now the Deputy Attorney General Ura Godfrey Yebo Adame check Simu vividly and be who Juma Potia womu eba baye, and there is what we call the sports tribunal eba Ghana tell sports tribunal. And so now you realize and then see a chief referee say we try bribe at the ama and I say referee the bribe. There is no law in the books of Ghana obey me at the prosecutor referee no, because on your public officer. Now embra for ebeba we a club administrator now we try sikama referee and referee you chose say why the bribe or sanima we no ebeba ama one who said the city you the one semba and then everybody ever count the Black Stars of Ghana one sem. Me dey kwadwo mensambo show GH kwadwo Ghana fo nyina kwadwo emeneko enti we dey be won tew because me pese emre na aka no itimi e dey exhaust these issues are more so nyina and we do it within schedule. Me da say so akai say we do afidie no ebeto Adom TV no ahwe Agoro Ne Fom dwumadie no. We mrantie me no ha amene mo eba be di dwuma no ebokum sen e wa ha e na Professor Jude Echampon messages no anabi bia obesa wudi ba biara mama line we na fa WhatsApp pe so 0243 360501 0243 360501 obetimi e the WhatsApp messages afa so abra discussion e course no now ebo any Jude bibia wako there
yeah fantastic
okay yeah. Now me person ka mo shase na se de be ya ye be hunti no yenko tie Dr. Kofi Amu or announce the extension of the mandate of the Normalization Committee or the announcement into the Enra or press conference. I say, Yenti Dr. Kofi Amu.
Initially, our mandate was from September 13th to March 31st, 2019. Part of our responsibilities involved sending monthly reports to FIFA so that at every stage they are aware of what we have been doing. And with the coming of the end of March, they had to take a decision. We gave them what we have done to this point, and they took a decision that yes, a lot has been done, but a lot more remains to be done. Specifically, finalizing the review of the statute and engaging in the elections of the Executive Committee. And therefore, in Miami, on the 15th of March, President Fantino presented to the FIFA Council the progress of the Ghana Normalization Committee, and a decision was taken that the mandate date end should be extended to September 30th, 2019. That means they added another 6 months.
Okay.
To
so
it.
So another 6 months, September 30th, 2019. Now, Ebo, this is where we are. Utieno, or say President Infantino presented the progress of work of the Ghana Normalization Committee to the FIFA Executive Council, and they agreed that they should have 6 more months. What dream was side extension idea normalization is saying?
Well, that's emotion. That's I'm saying me tia mom of TV in especially Gina or Yegmo Senator or Wager or Bonhomo de Baba call from ye panty.
Okay.
Channel.
Right.
And I go form with me now. I'm say I don't mean say the ana extension never because looking at the way I know Mexico. No. We say Kofona start and even competition on buy a time on cast some of the best start. Now we should be never now you could clearly say definitely there will be an extension. Inti me say yeah because I'm saying Ghana and Kwana SCI am extension. There are countries be inti the air partners say at the end of the day no football no more woman because maybe I mean person who last me because same person who no more because we Ghana clubs most of the clubs in our country have will be some account because I don't bank statement from a particular club by their supporting only one player that could because we couldn't get it. Until these are some of the things I may expect says I don't never bab on so my maybe your best set target that will say you cannot pay your player up to this certain amount, ABR, which limits ABR, I say to me, chop $1,000 minimum. Sano mean, if you say some cost wise age manner, I bet Ghana football because no one will Ghana football more any because me, I know my football be at China, reference and some gear. Idea I had in a partner Ghana football and cost. Maybe I'm one of the football administrator, owner of the club, a castle council, no moment dear. So be Piescapa, the ama referee, the team acronym, the on ye be that. And also, or catch him, because now, Obia, I don't know, sorry, they on yet because office will be a jaya football Bakuyi. And I did say, Saturday, I be a good say, yet the mamma could this stage say, referee to win your bribe, administrative be to mean bribe, but my quality of game now, a pen, because even getting players into the national team, people take money before they send them to both at the end of the year, good players. Play you born papa because when you can go 20 now I cut them and team says I don't know me feel said man their mom your mom up to September is good among cause money no maybe a hint of Ghana football go them I want to tune you na encourage them this na happy yes will be where we are not because at the end of the day no go find a barrier and if no into they are also human beings. Okay, you understand? Yeah, initially the way I'm normal because I'm no money but now FIFA is talking and FIFA yeah, me beside you, me belly because the FIFA that I know no one of that two and because I say no master and me and no assistant so I hear me because you say in every organization do me be change no start to see no normal change no to conform what is going on in the society. To me feel say no man e course no and I pay obi ma me sending me message bi busa me say letter West region for actually their command FIFA no Ghana ye benye ban na me so me I don't think
because West region for Kodioyanka as a person.
Well, but instead of sitting a letterhead of Western Regional and I can't say
Regional Football Association.
And I can't say or more Sam say you know Sam for do I didn't finish reading the letter because
I know a different thing.
So what I'm saying that person has said a benye effective Ghana so I don't think so because looking at the way FIFA collaboration with the government and then the Normalization Committee I don't think say anything about punishment ever Ghana. It means say good I mean but Ejman make and I person no be brief you apart from the status on review no no ya make start no ma Ghana football no ma player bo one season pe no ko bi se Vietnam na sefo so enye nti sad man person mo ye wadwuma na enko ye mi Ghana football ko nanim.
Okay, so normalization addresses those issues but on the extension Jude
ko ye ka se ade bi abnormal ade bi asay into bi be normalize na me say Ghana for ye dwens ade no ye we are in a state football is abnormal. Football is no more. Then there are a group of people who are selected individuals. We are very respected. We are achievers. We are more expertise in their field. And you say, try and normalize the situation. I am abnormal for years. It's easy to come and normalize it. But when you have people these people work tirelessly to put a certain smile back on the faces of Ghanaians in terms of football. Now FIFA says let's normalize Ghana football. And therefore, or the Dr. Kofi Amwa, Lucy Quiz, now Dofole, and it say look into the nitty-gritties of the problems Ghana Yokomu, so you normalize it back. And it's a huge task. Now, FIFA in his own wisdom, essentially himself, adeɛ bi obeka sɛ ye no once I go so ye no there might be obstacles, there might be time where you fall down, there might be time where nneɛma bi bɛkɔ and once you are working and putting back the smarts, on the face of Ghanaians, nneɛma na bɛkɔ kyɛw no ɔhwɛ adwuma na wayɛ no the larger picture no who say, oh, you are about achieving what I have tasked you to do and you're extended. Okay. So FIFA Executive Council in Infantino presented the task force, the tax radar, and normalization committee that and they feel say if you had the 6 months can you'll be able to achieve, you'll be able to do that. Now let's FIFA can say the normalization committee no 5 members.
Yeah.
We have 4. There's a deficiency there.
Can send the names in later, but
2, yeah, the tax force so that you work hand in hand so that so now he's putting those places those people back into places. No, normalization to my achieve the task at their mom. So Ghana for now look at the when they were working, clubs were fighting against them. People were trying to sabotage them. People were trying to make sure, say, therefore, FIFA will come in and say, you're on the right path. We all agree. Let's give you extension. And I think the FIFA, I'm sure for the work of normalization.
Right. We have Professor Jude Champo and I'm attending Kano. The account is here for announcement. Moshe and I'm say Dr. Kofi Amwa say FIFA in his wisdom no free say adwuma no mo ye na ekwanim enti wo mo entoa so make normalization committee no. Now enra FIFA consultants abagana na omba Ghana na mwekaya on the 30th of September 2018 normalization ye announcement say omo take over Ghana football no. Mr. Nikolai Mr. David Nikolai oye announcement we no ka say FIFA and Ghana ban ebe form ade say task force. Now that force no would deal task force no ebe deal with corruption and malfeasance in Ghana football. Now, uma yentie FIFA Senior Development Officer. Tini FIFA Senior Development Officer. Your friend Solomon Mudegi. Orona announcement said Ghana any Ghana government and FIFA can form what they call joint task force. In
this task force is Dr. Kofi Amor in his position as the president of or the chairperson of the Ghana Football Normalization Committee. We also have 2 consultants who bring expertise in the world of integrity, sports governance, and sports administration, and they are Mr. Jean-Samuel Leba, as well as Mr. Peter Limaka. We also invited the government of Ghana to propose a representative of the Ghanaian government to this task force. Honorable Minister Asiama took our requests and notified us that Mr. Godfred Dame, in his position as the Deputy Attorney General of Ghana, had been appointed to this task force. So since the 18th of March, we've had deliberations and discussions about how we can assist, which according to our mandate, as well as how we can assist the actions that are being taken by the Normalization Committee.
Okay. Only said a very clear picture. This is Mr. Solomon Mudegi. Or explaining, and as a way announcement said, task force no, from FIFA, your consultants, and Abaku Efi Ghana, and Ono Mudegi no, a secretary to the task force or staff of FIFA, senior development officer. Now, maybe I said a bit move forward in Temtino. My could Godfrey Yabwadame, our deputy attorney general of Ghana. Now, I'll explain some of the things are task force no ebeye. Here we are, then we can discuss.
If you look at the last video, there were various instances of persons who took money and had their conduct influence one way or the other in terms of the organization of football matches and what have you. And clearly, this conduct is prescribed by the GFA regulations, and there's punishment prescribed. But the prescription of that punishment is not enough to serve as a deterrent and also to even boost the confidence of the Ghanaian public that such conduct, when engaging, would not be punished properly. Now, I say so because indeed, if a person offers money, if, for instance, if a person offers money to a football referee to influence the outcome of a match, it is what we usually describe as bribery. But such bribery is not recognized in the domestic laws of Ghana. And I say so because bribery and corruption, as defined, only applies to public officers in Ghana. So if you take money to have your conduct influenced one way or the other, and you're a public officer, such conduct will be punished. But most of the officers engaged in football are private persons. The referees are private persons, and most of the officials at the GFA will not even be public officers. In fact, the president of the GFA himself was actually in the private sector and was serving us. So if there is such conduct, clearly it does not fall within the prescription of corruption, or bribery and corruption in the Criminal Offences Act. Now, again, the offense of default by false pretenses cannot apply, because you're talking about the definition of fraud is where a person takes money upon making a representation to another that he's going to do X and Y, and that person knows that he couldn't deliver on such a promise, and that will qualify for fraud. So clearly, you find a gap whereby even though the specific conduct is deplorable, even though the conduct would have been punished as per the not so heavy sanctions prescribed by a GFA, that person will be working scot-free, and the confidence of the public in football administration will be weakened. So we think that there's a very pressing need for us to amend the existing Sports Act. It's a Sports Act at 934, but the Sports Act recognizes only very limited conduct as offenses. So we have envisaged that indeed there ought to be an amendment of this Sports Act to recognize such practices as offenses under the Sports Act. And when that is done, a punishment will be prescribed by the new legislation that will be put out. So there will be a specific definition of certain offenses which clearly are peculiar to practices in the sporting arena. And such conduct will then be criminalized by the new Sports Act. And then also, how do we prosecute such offenses? We have also thought about the institution of what we call a sports tribunal. And that will not be so much different from, say, what is existing under the Land Title Administration law, the Land Title Education Committee, which has the powers of making certain recommendations and which really have the force of law. And the findings of such a committee will then be applied.
Okay, so what is the name Sports Tribunal? Now, Ebo, this is a very simple issue. Also, Ghana, football is a isolated area. BBC, you say, untimi fa Ghana mra enni bi pakro. And who a football owner? What the club football the church? Now, say a cheap referee say waje bribe. Even though bribery in the laws of Ghana is a criminal offense, you know. Football bribery, no, it's not captured in the laws of Ghana, and so the person may be punished in the laws of the football association. But Ghana I'm right to mean so the work of the task force didn't say, fashion out a way. You bet me up the football brano. And the coach Ghana brand said the bear, see a child referee say what you bribe is the same as yachi public official minister, and now any government EBR on what you bribe. And then see a chimney say me to bribe a year. If I say police near watching me a offense, the law will deal with me. But referee say what you bribe, the law will not deal with him. What do you make of the establishment of this task force and mission at Dominion?
Well, Moshe Mdasi, with them who say a human being think a crap because I mean say FIFA and see almost some brand be because him say FIFA now win.
And let me remind you, say as we almost say it is the first of its kind in the history of FIFA. Now say work here, I'm replicating our other countries.
Okay. So if that be the case, they are fine because me not say na American. Come him say. Okay, say Sam Bernard did public officials pay. And to me, say me comes in me majuma na me could share bribe mobia and brano and to me famine this. Send a didi or Mamuya Benjamin and the no. The son and I mean say so a company or register as private companies. Internet to be very difficult. But send our mamma some person muji. Because I yes, I dear a bay papa because I don't know nature says, see, I know about us and I say, ye the football ba be hye aban ase nti no ade be you football mu bia is an government and side no say na FIFA France on it nti say now
but I don't think say you are getting the rift yeah abuchi say chi obi say waje bribe or football ma enye football man kwa na need ye the mind mbra and need
okay
UK you can check
okay
referee bia action wo abuchi bia UK especially in Europe waje bribe bia no ye mfa football mbra kwa ya di football mbra na di we dey say your mind mbra di
but there was no so can say the first kind of FIFA
no you out of the 210 countries no
yeah
FIFA identifies about 60 something countries are
okay
football mbra no any o mind mbra no pepepe obi ye bone of football ma o mind mbra etimi ni di but majority of the countries in FIFA no so ye bone of football ma o mind mbra etimi ni di and FIFA want to make sure say who ye bone of football ma say football mbra any o mind mbra nyina no etimi ni odi
me dem so me dey say me we kwa dey me dey papa banka na me boa because who say Ghana no efefo no ahunhun ya che de bia we ye wo dey second pe ye be ye from nti ne ya fam say abandon the proposal me did say bia proposal we went from government to FIFA because who say sign on na how man ya che de bia na efefo no ya dey ko kapa ye dey wo dey second kapa ban ye say
it is the reason why up to now yet is yan prosecutor.
Oh yes I know
because who to me prosecuting
I know
about organ
unim say at this time oko FIFA say ko be yes I dey but still engagement and yam kupon man no matter say some man kwa ye dey because me gidi say because no man cost of football mu e ya na hadwin sa bribe nsensem ni ade pa e che say ya dey ase football to say aban ne ho akosi ma FIFA fa aja tum say ne dey o mo ati ase so mbe ma say obi ye boni wo ko obi ko tua bribe wo FIFA mu na say bituma ejere ni dia football no bituma ejere dia me use ti anu de sa bribe ko ye bia ye tan ka so sa de ninja say de
bituma wo say ya tama wo Jinak FC na wo say wo tua bribe no diga bribe
ka say me tua bribe da
no say na wo maska me edi influence matches
mo say de ben ka no ebo mo say me ko be 2021
oh de
mo say potom family chat mu me nka sa wa hada de amaka ne say football bribe na de ekoso but me nka say me tia bi da and on the record they say mo record ya to because say say mo yankopon ya dem na ba power 2021 mo ya appointment bi am say on be busa me nti me ka to say me nka say me tia bribe be bi da me tia say e ya de ekoso because we have some of the referees are on no ba bon komo aka won asem dey say na ekoso nti me giri say ne yankopon abana mraba na say ye be ja to say nda we efe officials na we di kululu e bia match is koso na so me kwako tuatua we say miss ni ade nyina na aban ti was straight into home me giri say sa no football no e be koye pa sa me wu anko ade abade me gitu 100% me support 100%.
Only omo ya adwen say football mbra no and I say football offenses must not be limited to the only the books of the football.
That is why that is the problem we are facing now. Nka and not in the game no. So obi akutua bribe na ya che no. And ye na court dey genuine so ma. Nka officer graph press back kwati. Referee be di match go to me from start me see ye be di match for you. I remember that match ah. Ye say referee oh chale me dey moment we dey kodi papa ye. To our book and you understand what now officer camera how osu anko betu akasa say actually better thing because what ba me am the host match who say ya hanu ubebobo a host team be host too nti ave foul e sam do koda hotel na ubusa mo na me so chale ye dey see the sare man ye jaye nyim ye na so mo ja de ye kwakudi di o ba bi a camera wa ko onye bo nim say asema kan metimi di akwa report ne say na opeso ye obe console nto ko onye nti see the same ya be dem dia me asese because be me football na ye pudin ni man kana me utre bia me doubt say
right
side ya mo dia be nya twi but semra we ya ba ma FIFA na tia mpa ma oni aba asese tum say di me be ko parliament
task force no e ba be ye say
no to mo ye gbe ko ni be ko parliament ji tumu a ene ye wie football ni de dedin man kana me so this is the one thing na normalization for na say aban aya say to mo ame me support said medino because the football are corrupt at and they be ko do say ko boafi ye time ko kai when for sen ka fifo ko kai ye fe na che say no dream ko anu di sa ye tumi gi sponsorship e di mba black star hu be be scan fire ye gi sa hu hwi bande ye ko se ko twom no ho no mo say na fifo tumi di aban akokot na aban di for say ade na mo ko hwe fifo no tumi be na mo sem ko twom na ye buba na mbra na abase aban wo ho kwan say hu ye dream wo afi office wa ye betumi abadwom Nese would for a jailua, but you said it's the best thing to do. Observe, a book say, Sabra tax force na abano,
And the Deputy Attorney General of Ghana, he made mention of what they call sports tribunal. Uba Ghana, it was the judicial system of Ghana. There were certain specialized courts. For example, there were courts in Ghana dealing with only land cases. Yeah. And Dr. Governor Ward American Land Administration Court. Yeah. There were financial court in Ghana. Yeah. And there was specialized courts.
The court for drivers.
For drivers and for only driving offenses. Yeah. And all that. And if we are creating a court for football offenses, I bet our minor captured within the laws of Ghana. That is what a friend is saying. The tax force in Ebabe. What do you make of that idea way? And according to FIFA, no, a lot of countries any idea way or national laws mo. And say Ghana the year FIFA would like to replicate it in other countries.
Okay, cool. First of all, Ghana for ade Ghana for nim ye pa abunfia ye mu nipa ho abunfia wo de nipa ade hye nipa nsa ye say no we don't want to always say nipa we capable of doing this. And first of all, let's deal with the membership of this committee from the task force. You have the Normalization Committee President the chief enforcer of regulations and status. He will not go to anything until he sees that Ghana football is up there. He is a member of this committee. Then we are talking about Solomon Modege. FIFA in terms of developing something, creating something, making sure he is in charge of it as the secretary. Now the two consultants in the name of
Jean Samuel Lebao and Peter Lemasa.
Yeah. Now,
FIFA.
These two consultants are bringing a certain expertise into this committee.
Now, expertise in integrity,
sports governance, and then we move forward as sports administration. Now, it tells you say Ghana we are lacking in terms of that expertise when it comes to sports governance. In terms of how I integrity, onipa wo nimsa ade we enye bragma menye obeje ade we di the French ni they know we are lacking as Africans.
Yeah.
Then as to getting the expertise in administration of football and kasa okrom anakasan. Yenimi. Now these people come on board and they will bring an idea yenye bi that Ghana has say. It tells us a FIFA ni abre. So these are the members holding the fort.
Ghana ban so ni abre.
Yes, and Mr. Odami Aba. And why you look at the stand the government take here. It should tell us that government one they were hurt, two they idea a course on who said Ghana focus so and government wanted to do something to prove say young Kasanians society was so. And that is why I would take his stand say hey Ejidan Kasa Attorney General say you boo F no until FIFA case the tax force iba. So these are the members we are dealing with, and their integrity is at its peak, their expertise is the best. Number two, what I am looking at and what I'm happy is about functions. And if you look at functions, can you know for tax force the bar? One more baby Jumana normalization, one more baby in charge, no. You listen to Asama Kosu another GF Secretariat. Let's look at the functions of the tax force. Quote here. They are to create or establish proper disciplinary governance and mechanisms as well as ensure that all persons found culpable of any malfeasance
and corruption
is dealt with. A simple
financial malfeasance.
Everybody say kromha ye ban ye bo mu a sikawia sikedie number 1. Okay, say kromha executive committee to be committees. Now we have one now sikedie no so just basa. Omo dia yefene. Mo di Ghana sika wia Ghana sika sa mo dia yefene. Nipa ba ko to me Ghana sika dollars e de kwa broche scan obeyi no obekọ ko di ni nyina se no koba on bubu
accountability. Okay.
Iti when na no FIFA who say enye e was say obi oya accountable, obi must be punished for the wrongdoings, na and serve as deterrent to people, na insanity no na integrity na. So ko we dey asem there.
Okay. Now we dey asem there. Now, your tax force, in fact, say minyaya anka you better dwell a little bit on this one, but because of time, you know, next week you better. So now let's talk about the senior national football team and the Black Stars of Ghana. But for me, this weekend it is not the most important match to me. Yeah. The most important match, the Black Meteors, our U23 team no. In fact, since Yusuf Chipsa, a captain Ghana called Athens 2004 no, Ghana and qualify and Olympic tournament to be a bill. Now Ghana was the first country to win bronze in the Olympic competition as far as Africa is concerned. After that, countries mienu afa ho abe wini ama Ghana still be down any other. Nigeria and Cameroon. Now, how do we make sure say this time around you will qualify Niako? It is the reason why Coach Ibrahim Tanku and then the man here I was say against Gabon. Omutiminya a very good win. Emma Omaino. Now let's look at the lineup Abba and then now Yenche City here. We are still live on Adom TV and Igusu at the Airbanam. Lineup only Joseph Pencil is playing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, starting.
So now you want to see Kwame Ban and the better go post anymore. Kingsley Fobi, Gideon Mensah, Nunu Mensah, Hussein Zakaria, Simon Zibo, Osman Bukari, Yawabo, who is the captain of the team, and Yawo Kwabena Owusu, Benjamin Tete, and Joseph Pencil. And Joseph Pencil and Benjamin Tete leading the attack for the senior, for the national under 23 football team. The last time I called Olympic Games, I could be Athens 2004. At that time, Asamoah Gyan near Bafojan, they were in the squad. As Bafojan went as a senior player, Asamoah Gyan went as a junior player. The three players I call seniors, you know, seven up here, Bafojan and William Thierry, and the under coach Mariano Barreto in Athens. Yentimin qualified you 2008, we are out 2012, 2016, and 2020. You say you beat me, Ako. How do we ensure qualification?
Well, I'm sure that's it. Say, players here are born. I'm saying one at the moment. He beat me. I can say Ghana for. I beat me about some matches. But I say publicity no so me to me. I say I'm sure I need too much of it. But you can say. And me bomb pie saying you could be because you could be a bomb pie. Oh yeah, a bomb pie. Football and pie boss will move. But you need luck to win a match. But bet me a boy. Make I say the last one I boy. I'm saying Nigeria for a boy. Kumasi. Ne there is with a ne referee so be imagine na dawo. Yeah, pim so because I'm today for one go qualify. Yeah, to qualify. Until you need luck in football because we say a normal echo for the Ghana football. Yeah, we say league here, but most of players say be on your local players na don't go ma. We share their activeness e go game no ma. Nti mpa na ebo say Yankopon be kan because I say focus na was a match plus a match dey qualify we. Tim say ebo say yin na say you so because matches na we are and 23 years Chesina working since Athens 2004 yan qualifying to ya tremusa until this opportunity any Gabon dey Yankopon ya bit make fiafa so ya ku en nti emo mpa na infant 30 minutes Ghana for na nko mo mpa say and 23 this time because I know to count and say no kuna nima ma blast at me so you do and 20 the feed blast and more but and 20 so kuna nima just say bo atimti e mo mpa 30 minutes na Yankopon ya
right now Jude this is a tournament prestigious there are certain countries especially Brazil and Argentina they don't joke with this competition the Olympic medal is so prestigious a rare in the life of an athlete say ubenya that gold or any of the Olympic medals, no. But I allude here, even qualification to a problem. How do we ensure say Ghana you meet me qualify this time around Athens? What do you call it?
Tokyo. Yeah, first of all, we are playing against Gabon.
Yeah, sure. And maybe let me add this one. Qualification I think more because now first in the qualify since now qualify we had one. Now we now qualify. This was South Africa. Yes.
Now there's a U23 African Cup of Nations. Bas for Egypt.
Yeah.
And Ghana for I mean correct side. I'm for be freestyle where the final hurdle to it where penultimate hurdle.
Yeah, we are the last hurdle.
Yes, the last hurdle between Algeria or Hormansana ebitimi ahe. Ko TNA we are playing against Gabon. Now, Metunya ka just say Gabon mining na led by our president. Sisi America so mo Burundi. Now, there's a big game to this, and maybe I'm going to say, Burundi and Gabon are playing against Burundi. Now, a winner takes all qualifies to the African Cup of Nations. Now, Burundi president say, or no, it will be a failure and an indictment to the government to say Gabon, led by Aubameyang, I'm going to be qualifying for African Cup of Nations. So now, on my morning, with everything, ministers or coaches, they are all in Burundi. So it tells you, say, Message omudi ja at 23 for say, we know you lose in Ghana, but go and lose minimum of goals.
Respectable score.
Respectable score. It's Uba or the 2-0, 2-1. 1-1. 1-0. No, Sameba.
That's also two competence short trade.
That's the point. Yes. It's bra score line we can overturn in 3 days time. Don't forget that in 3 days time, difficult to also read and overturn. You may be for 3 days. And I'm saying that is why Ghana will win this game. But the point, any question on Ghana for you, Mimi Busa, when they say how many goals can we score? We critique the chances, but how many goals can we score?
We have a team.
Yeah, we do. Brilliant team. What here? The right full back is Lifobi has been there playing through the ranks under 17. Now he's a foreign-based player. We monitor the progress of Italy and he's doing well. Okwa Gideon Mensah, he's been playing wonderful for I think Storm Grounds. Austria, he's playing very well. Then Musa Nu, when he was playing, he was scoring as a defender. He was very, very good player. Then Zakaria Fuseri, or best. Then Simon Zibo sits in between. If you want to know, just in front of the defense, and this boy, what he can do, and what he brings into the team. Then on the flanks, that is where I'm who Joseph Penter on the left, trying to weave magic, and he is capable of doing that. Then on the other flank too, you are Osman Bukari over there. Then bad say Isaac Chumin to start game there. But I'm sure when it comes in, he also bring another quality even on the bench. Even Bernard Tapete on the bench. So we have so many quality players on the bench. It tells you say if we're able to create the chances, then we must finish it up. And I believe we will finish it against Togo. The American qualifier they say 5-1. Coming back from a goal down, scoring 5 goals. It tells you say 4-0, 5-0. In 3 days' time, they can never overturn this deficit. Okay. Now, win emphatic, score more goals, you are there.
But this Olympic team, your players are people expect them say be part of the senior national team.
Of course.
For example, Bernard Tepete, Kingsley Fobi,
yes.
Even Joseph Pence, a young guy, is now coming up.
When you mention sure about Nanu Yamini Pele Cra, was sports about Benjamin Tete. About Benjamin Tete. Yes, he scored about 17 goals for his club, Czech Republic. So, young man, so these are players knocking seriously hard on the doors of the Black Stars. And then they have the opportunity to show Kwesi and say, look, we are young, but we can produce magic when you give us the chance. So, we're glad they are set it. Let's go and cheer them out. And it's the first time under 23 ball in a very huge crowd.
Yeah.
Now you're cheer up.
Yeah.
Now you're more that confidence. So it should be marauding win. It should be an emphatic win, and I expect 4-0.
Okay. Judy, I expect 4-0. I expect a good win. Maybe a good win. This is a team. So in fact, so shit team very close to the senior national football team. Very, very close to the senior national football team. And on any given day, say Oma opportunity. I'm sure say some of these players can break into the
go on the bench. For House of Folk, William Denchi, Masolata, Dreams FC. These are quality materials. Sure. They bring quality to the team.
Okay. I don't know under 23, but Black Stars, the reason why I so important is that you're qualified that. The Kenya game there, I said the preparatory. We are on Tuesday. Don't forget the players in the mobile where they are not going. On Tuesday, on Betrangana, now Yami Adoma, Benada. I'm signing Mauritania for now, but Mauritania Burkina Faso. We are the flight.
But they lost yesterday. Lose 1-0 to Burkina.
Yeah, just about now come with Ghana.
Yes.
So they will come to Ghana and play against the senior national football team, the Black Stars of Ghana. So that's the itinerary. Yeah, but Black Stars, maybe I'm better. The team, because in the last 2 years, see our body team. With 2 months to go, do you see Kwesi our body team?
Well, in fact, mom get baby I am deck a as or the seniors now, men fans say, both teams are in yet nay expect say, you don't bet me now back. At least I could just more say, the moon and
John Boy now.
Don't boy now. Want him just say, any team and I may expect the Biane Befre. And to me, fans say, fast and match a couple in the year match. Yeah, quack for preparation towards AFCON 2019 Egypt. And Tim Giddy say, performance then yes score line by a say the game plan and the teamwork that didn't na be juma but say yeah juma and never go from akodi because this time they say kona koji cap on labor into match able in ya qualify into preparation to be say ABS and why the team building there because on one is so include to the team name. So when you're in interest, the audience in our parent in there, you have a black young will say, you see a team between our country wake up and nothing because in I can say your players or one good teams with Europe, next so invite them all the time at almost for member. But then, so I need team winning and a team building now. I hear even there. My better conclusion says, yeah, no, the senior ones in every count. I didn't call I saw those in the ship. TS say, on my performer when there, you make sure because in the air, what say. The way in I did this so for we better and all this happening for in our panel. You say, bring a game, I pay. I pay mine, I say, you're quite for a bit like what you happen. That's what we are expecting.
Right. I my main fan check is here, Emma, Juan Dakwa Quatin. Juan Dakwa Quatin. We see you, Emma, dark made clothing line. Dark made clothing line. Now, okay, Instagram, with me on dark made. Mate, and I pay a check and come on. The director, I don't know, Jackson. That's right. You're the first money. Now, do we have a team? The Black Star. Do we have a team?
No
team.
Not that one that can win.
Team.
You need team between AFCON no Assad now. You need. You look at 24 players now. James Akwesiapia, Edebe Bona, Nkokrafo no Yadoso. And to me,
and right, you got training grounds. We can say, so you're no. So Akwesiapia. Nyako Godro, not drop it players or Woodin. One Olympia. Not the players of Mooney then someone Olympia. You will win something.
Yeah, because you are going into a tournament or my penisa Konakoje, you need a lot of determination, a lot of quality, a lot of players are or carry injuries into that tournament. Now, I want to see Obi to say Joseph Adu of Genk sit on the bench for Obi to say John Boy to play or China. No. Over last 2 seasons, add to this season, Joseph Adu, phenomenal defender, Belgian League. These are some of the things we are talking about. It's about time one.
Drop it, boy, no
boy, drop on a small boy anymore. Don't put in your dance on one thing because we're determined to win for Ghana, and that's what we win. And the man who coach, also with World Qatar. Now. James Akwesiapia 2 years, me body team. Look at this 24-man squad on the buy. 70% the whole team are no 70%. So are you building a team? Yeah. But we are absolutely behind him. Say, let's see your good handwriting on it.
If you are now a person or the quality best team, go West.
Okay, the Ebokusin, that you remember go West or PMPD, Metanachi, go West.
Yeah, go West.
So you will about come for
you. Of course, I know.
Thank you very much, Jackson. Anyway, cameraman, VR, sound man, light man, and everybody. Thank you very much. Now we have next week. You will send you. Yeah, crowd.